Today's a good day, guys. Gosh, House is like over here being a train. What's wrong with you two? Huh?
What's up?
Whatever.
Whatever. Howdy, folks.
What's going on, Bo? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
We had our break.
Dude, that's a pretty cool shirt.
I know.
I think I told you that last time you wore it.
I have to tell you something about it, though.
Tell me something.
Well, I can't. I'll tell you when we're not recording.
Are we going to pick up your motor in here?
So, let me move all this stuff.
We have like 6 trucks between us, and we're taking the Forester to pick up your motor.
Well, yeah, we want it to be inside, not out in the weather. Come on, Bo.
Whatever.
Jeez. Anyways, we're going to pick up the block. I was told that it's all done. So that's why today is a good day.
Woohoo! Today's a good day. So this is where we came to get Ronnie's block. Precision Machine Service. Dave is a super knowledgeable guy. He did a really good job. You know, as far as we can tell, I'm not a human micrometer, but it looks good. Everything looks nice and clean and machined and whatnot. Now we got to get it back to the shop, get it all put together. Dave still has Ronnie's head, so I think he said he's going to finish up on that and get the head back to us. Man, this thing's moving pretty fast now. We were waiting, and now everything's kind of moving. So hopefully we can get this thing together, get a turbo on it, get it boosting, make some horsepower. I think Ronnie said he wants to do some painting on some brackets. He wants to do some powder coating and stuff like that. I don't know how much time that's going to set us back, but we're going to get to it. So I'm just waiting on him. He's in there talking to Dave. Dave's such a knowledgeable guy. Like, you can ask him anything and he'll tell you, you know, the same thing 5 different ways to make sure you understand. He's just super knowledgeable like that. So I'm just waiting on Ronnie right now. So it's been a couple days since we picked up the engine over at Precision, and this is what Ronnie has done. Ronnie has done math. Yay. Wow. They said we'd never use this stuff.
They also said that we wouldn't have a calculator in our pocket all the time. So he was really right.
Right? So we're about to put the block on the engine stand, and we're going to go over how to measure for bearings and things like that. Main bearings, right? And rod bearings. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So,
Talk about all that.
did you get the, did your crank get polished, or did it actually get turned, or what?
Just polished.
Just
So,
polished? Okay.
It had no scores or anything in it, so we just polished it up.
Okay. Are the cylinders, are they bigger than they were?
Yeah, they're 20 over,
Okay, cool. So we'll go through that, and
however much that is.
I'm tripping
see
over
this
stuff. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. So what all are we doing today?
Well, since there's already half this video shot, just that.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome. Well, once we get this thing on the engine stand, we'll get back with you. Here's our pretty shiny crankshaft. And this motor's from a 240SX, right?
Yes.
As you can tell by the crank girdle right here. The single overhead cam that comes out of the truck doesn't have a girdle. It just has main caps, right?
Yeah, they're right here.
Just individual main caps. Let's see here. Ah, yes, main caps. So this is stronger, we think? I mean, it looks stronger. It seems like it would be stronger.
That's what they say.
Kind of hold everything in place, that sort of thing.
What's up?
There are my shoes. I feel like I'm looking down a Pringles can. Where's that Pringle? I need a Pringles.
That's what I was trying to do.
Levi, are you being unreasonable?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you are. Ronnie and his fancy tools. Fancy twos.
So you're gonna need a mic like this,
Okay.
but it can't have a flat. They call these anvils. It can't have a flat anvil.
Okay.
You have to have one of these ball anvils,
Okay.
and they make them. They just go on there,
All right.
and then you
Easy
zero
enough.
it out, right?
What are you gonna measure with that?
So you zero it out. That's pretty much good. You measure your bearings.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So what you have to do is you have to get a spec sheet like this. Dave wrote this out for us. So this is our main bore on the block,
Okay.
and then our rod bore on the rods,
Okay.
and then what the crankshaft would be for the rod journal, which is here. So when you look at the crankshaft, the ones that are in line, those are your mains. The ones that are offset are your rods.
Right.
So this says what our rod spec should be and what our main spec should be on the crankshaft, and then this says what our main bore should be on the block and what our rod bore should be on the rods.
Okay. The main bore would be what we're looking at right down here. This is the main bore right here. That's what the main journals on the crank rod in. And between the crank and the block go the bearings. And there's supposed to be a clearance, you know, some sort of clearance in between there, which we measure for also.
So you take this and you put the flat side on the outer radius and the round one on the inside
Levi.
radius. Stop, we're not opening that.
Just quiet down a little bit,
I need
dude.
that. It's not a toy. So, and you want to measure the middle because they taper as they go down. So you're going to kind of hold it, and you're going to turn the little one, because the little one's going to click and stop, whereas the big one you can kind of crank down, you can ruin your bearing. So we have 0.5945, so we're just say 0.59, 0.059.
Okay.
You have to remember all these zeros. So you do that for, this is a rod bearing, you also do it for a main bearing. Which
And is this thousandths of an inch that you're measuring in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Millionths of an inch, or I don't know. Tinies,
Bazillions of an inch?
hairs. You also do it with your main bearings. So you
Okay.
measure those. You only have to measure one. And then you multiply it by 2. So we're going to go over to the board over there where I did all this garbage.
Okay.
Careful. Leave those in there. So, let me get my paper because I don't know where I started all this.
He looks at it, it's like all of a sudden it's Greek.
I'm not sure what that number is. We can start with this one because this is, I know, this is my main bearing
Okay.
size. You multiply it by 2 because you need 2 of them, which gives me this number. There's supposed to be a 0 here, which gave me this number. That was my big problem. I wasn't putting zeros. There's a lot of decimals to handle.
Dang, dude.
But yeah, 0 here. And then this is my, what is it? That's my main on the crank. So that's the size of the crank.
The journal.
Yeah.
Right.
No, not the journal.
The bore.
Oh, no, yeah, journal. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So this is on the crankshaft, the main journal. And we're going to add it with our bearing to get this size here,
Okay.
which is what those are.
Right.
Then we're going to take this number and we're going to subtract it from our main bore clearance,
Right.
which gave us 11, or 11.
You subtract it from
10,000ths.
your main bore, and
Yeah.
that gives you your clearance.
Yeah, it gives you your clearance. And for most stuff, it'll have like in between here and here, you know?
Right.
So it'll be like this size to that size.
Okay.
So our clearance is 11 10,000ths.
Right.
1.1 10,000ths to 1.8 10,000ths. That's what we ended up with. So
Okay.
it's a little tight because you'd really like to be about 1.5 to 2.0.
Okay.
So we're a little tight, but it's okay. And then same thing over here. I don't know, I messed up. I'm not sure why this is that. Or is that what we said it was when we measured that bearing? Anyways, it gave us 13 to 18
Okay.
on the rods.
13 to 18 ten thousandths.
Yeah.
Awesome. And this one's 11 to 18 ten thousandths,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's what the clearance is supposed to be.
And so
Between the
the oil clearance between your rod bearing and your crankshaft.
Okay.
Or your main bearing and your crankshaft. Between
Right.
the bearing and the crankshaft. That way it can actually spin. And what you're going to do, get your bearing size, times it by 2, and then add that to your journal size,
Right.
and then subtract that from your bore size, and that'll give you your clearance. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Just that way everybody can do this math if they need to at some point in time.
Levi, handle this math for us.
No,
Yes.
I can't.
Okay.
I just got chips.
You got chips? That's way better than math, dude. I like chips way more than math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the crank, I use my caliper here. And I just checked a journal and went kind of middle and smashed it down, and then just went to the next rod one. And she fits, and then do that to the mains as well. Just try and do it soft and easy. You don't want to scratch anything.
Right.
You know, you see that one's a little bit tighter, but it's not bad. Still goes on, still goes on, still goes on. So as long as you're close within the specs on your paper, wherever we put it, you should be good.
Right on. All right, so in the next video, we're actually going to start putting this thing together. That's going to be in like 3.5 minutes, but we probably won't put out that video for another couple days. So look for that. We're going to be assembling the engine. We'll put the crankshaft in. We'll get the pistons and rods put together, and hopefully get it all in the block. We're still waiting for freeze plugs for the block, is that right?
Yeah, they'll be here Christmas Eve.
Freeze plug.
So that'll be the day
For these
you guys
big
walk
holes
through
right
this.
here. For these big holes in the block right here. Are there holes on the other side?
Yeah,
Yes.
And there's one
Wow,
back.
so many holes.
there's 6 of them.
Wow, so many holes. Anyways, holy moly.
I know.
Anyway, so that's it for this video. So, yeah,
Yeah.
later.
See you guys.